Hey, well, welcome to the Insight Line. Along the ARC path, we simply invite you to a lifestyle path of better choices. And the Insight Line is where we get the understanding of where am I standing? Where do I begin? What am I aiming for? And what do I really want? The Insight Line is simply an invitation for you and I to acknowledge what is going on and what's available. So today on the Insight Line, we're going to just take a phrase that it's been a part of my life for a number of years that I've really found value in, and I want to share it with you. And I'm going to invite a good friend of mine to give some story and some testimony to it. But the phrase or the statement is simply, "Where your focus goes, energy flows." And slow that down a little bit and just connect with it and go, where your focus goes. What are you focused on? What are you looking at? How do things what draws your attention? And then what happens because of that? So where your focus goes, something else follows. It's energy. It's something of a bit of a mystery, if you would, about how does something come inside of you and then go out and impact other people? I love the concept of leadership. And I believe, as John Maxwell has made famous, that leadership is influence. And influence is the ability to empower others to make change and to actually give them something for wherever they're at. And today on the Insight Line, I want to invite you to recognize that you are powerful. Now, what makes you powerful is the ability to influence. And if you have influence, you have leadership. And today, along the Insight Line, we're simply going to learn how to lead ourselves above the line to really recognize that where I give my focus, I can actually impact change. And change is what the ARC path is all about. It's navigating change by choice. And the choice we simply make is we make the choice to acknowledge rather than assume. Assuming is below the line, acknowledging is above the line, and self-assessment is the process. That was the A. And then we move to the H and we go, well, what am I going to do on the H? It's healing. And below the line, we're hurting. And above the line, we're healing and helping. And we recognize that there's a choice there. Do I give my focus to healing? Because when I give my focus to healing, then energy will flow there. In the Christian world or in any religious world, we call that prayer or meditation. And there's something about it that when I am focused in believing that healing can happen, healing's more likely to happen. I have a person that I've followed for decades that they go, look, if 20% of the time healing takes place when you declare it, when you pursue it, when you desire it, when you speak it out loud and healing happens 20% of the time, are you going to focus on the 20% that life is transformed, or are you going to focus on the 80% that it didn't work? Where your focus goes, energy will flow. And if 20% of the time you can bring healing into your life, what if you spent more time focusing on healing? That's a percentage. We move from healing to restoration. Restoration is about building and adding and inviting new to come into our lives so that we can touch a kingdom celebration. And really along the ARC path, that is the key element of our focus. Celebrating every moment. So again, today we want to bring you above the line rather than below the line, because below the line, a lot of people get stuck in their problems. I believe it's one of the greatest addictions of the world. That's a profound statement. And that addiction is simply focusing on our problems, because the more we focus on our problems, the more they grow. There's a lot of people that pride themselves on being amazing problem solvers. And guess what? They keep finding more problems to solve. Well, today on the ARC Insight Line, we're not going to focus on our problems. We're not going to focus on simply solving things. We're actually going to experience a moment, just a moment in time where we recognize that where my focus goes, energy flows. And I'm going to invite Marina Macias to join me here. Marina, come on and join me on the ARC path. What I love about Marina's story is it's been a couple years that we've been on this journey together, the ARC path. That's right?
Yep, it's been a couple years.
And 2 years ago, when I met Marina for the very first time, I had no idea who she was, what to expect, or where things would begin. But on the very first day we met, we had this ARC encounter, didn't we?
Yep.
You remember what you learned that day? Just the summary, not the experience.
The summary of I didn't really know myself. I showed up just looking for an internship, wasn't even fully aware of what I was stepping into or even if I would be a right fit for what
Mm-hmm.
you were looking for. And what I encountered was a deeper look into myself and an awareness of what do I want, what do I desire, where am I at, and where am I going. And I was just like I just like helping people. That was the the deepest thing I could
Yeah, your her
create.
major was human development and no
And so
and
yep,
psychology,
yep.
and so I immediately said, you're intrigued by humanity, and yet she went to a Christian university and she was looking for an internship, and I said, you have faith. And then as we got to know each other, she began to share her story, and there was this element of, there was a hunger in Marina. Do you know Marina? Would you like to get to know Marina? Marina and I have found out that we can overlap in many different worlds.
Mhm.
She's
Many different
complicated.
words.
I'm
Mhm,
complicated. So today on the Insight Line, we're going to look at what happens when we give our focus to
mhm.
something. And if you got the phrase down, where your focus goes,
Energy flows.
and energy is something that you have in abundance. That is my conclusion. You have all the energy you need. And here's how I know that's true, because you're alive. You are alive, and there's something inside of you that's screaming out to show up. Now, a lot of times we can give our focus above the line, insight line, or below the line. And that's simply an existent element. But the focus is that I found with Marina is that she's willing to constantly celebrate.
Yep.
So I have a question for Marina.
Okay.
Marina, what do you do?
I share hope and celebrate people.
Marina, how long have you been giving that answer?
Um, for more distinct in a way that can be put into that one
Mm-hmm.
statement, just like yesterday.
Just like yesterday.
Yesterday.
And it really was yesterday that we had this conversation, and I asked Marina again what she does, and she kind of put that processing together, and I wanted to celebrate it with you. I wanted to celebrate it on the Insight Line because, Marina, what do you do?
I celebrate people.
I celebrate people. Now, over the last 2 years,
Yes.
when you met me 2 years ago, how many jobs did you have at that time?
Jobs.
You remember?
Well, at the time COVID started, so it kind of took out the majority of what I was
Mm-hmm.
doing, which is why I kind of was looking for an internship. But through that process, it really ramped up a lot of the things that I began doing even during
Mm-hmm.
the pandemic. I was a full-time student.
Mm-hmm.
I was helping and interning here, and it's totally transformed. I was a TA for one of my
The jobs are
professors.
starting to
I
come
was a
out.
tutor for
Uh-huh.
another family. I was working at a spado place as well, all at the same
Espada is
time.
something like ice cream, but it's not ice cream.
Yeah, Hispanic shaved ice, and so those were all simultaneously while in the pandemic. So,
So in the middle of the pandemic when we met,
and I did church. I
she
was a
had
youth leader.
thank you. She had four commitments where she was tutoring, serving, working, and then in ministry and a full-time student. And she came and said, I'd like an internship
With straight A's.
with
So,
straight A's.
yeah.
And so when I met Marina, her ability to be in multiple worlds, doing multiple things, somebody might call it busy,
Or
uh,
crazy.
or crazy, and yet, Marina, over the last couple years, you've let go of a lot of positions.
Yep.
You've found yourself free to say that's not what I want to be about. At the same time, you found other things you've jumped into. So I want to today, how do you um, how do you know the difference between distractions and discernment?
Distraction and
You don't
discernment.
have to answer on the spot, but that's
Okay.
really that's the general theme, because if you're going to give your focus to something, you've got to know if this is worth your time, your
Mhm.
energy, your efforts, the resources you have. Do you
Mhm.
invest in it? These are questions for you.
Yeah.
I'm also giving Marina a second to think about her answer. How do you know the difference between a distraction and discernment? So let's
Mhm.
start with discernment. What is discernment to you?
Discernment. Well, one, I would say personally, I'm not a person that's a quick response. I take a
Mm-hmm.
lot of time to think, and I'm definitely guilty of overthinking,
Mm-hmm.
overanalyzing, overprocessing. But when I'm presented with an opportunity, whether it's something I might be interested or might be like not interested at
Mm-hmm.
all, I have to ask myself why, not just what is the other person's intentions, because also that's also something to consider, like why would someone want you to be on their team or work with them.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to see like how does this align with who I am and what I'm about, and how is that maybe going to positively or negatively contribute to what my values are.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that can go in an array of different things, and I can be put into different positions, but
Mm-hmm.
have totally different reasons for doing it compared to someone else that might be in the same, environment as me. And so I would say that through that process, it's been a lot easier because I've been able to know more of myself.
Mm.
So that way I can know more of what I'm going to say yes to and what I'm going to say no to. During that process of where Casey really started seeing, oh, wait, Marina's doing this, or she's adding this onto her plate, and it can be confusing at times. But I remember Casey sharing as well, it's not just about the yeses, it's about the no's as well. No's are even more powerful than your yeses because they reveal what are you about? And
Mm-hmm.
it can go from a position, a big position somewhere outside, or it can be simply from what you're eating. Are you saying yes to that? Are you saying no to that? Because it's affirming something. So that's what I would have to say
On
about
the
that.
arc path, I believe that all of life is simply an accumulation of yeses and nos. And when you acknowledge, you're acknowledging the infinite number of yeses and the
Hmm.
infinite number of nos. And when you step into the kingdom, your yes is yes and your no is no.
Hmm.
So it becomes very individual and singular at the kingdom moment. And people are, what is this kingdom element? It's where you are declaring, my yes is yes and my no is no. And I'm not looking for somebody else to make me feel good about it. I'm simply owning where I'm at in this world and what I do. What do you do again?
Celebrate people.
And when you know what you do, then you can do it anywhere you want and
Hmm.
any way you want. But you have to find a confidence to be able to live into that. And Marina, the arc path has opened up many doors for you. Would
Yes.
you say that's true?
It has, and it's not something that it wasn't something that I was looking for. I was just open and
Mm-hmm.
curious, to even when I started as an intern, and then where that just led to an array of different opportunities, and where I began to grow and learn more about myself, and that naturally opened up so many different things that I don't even
Mm.
know. Like people ask me all the time, like how'd that happen? Or there's like, this
Yeah.
is so the things that you're doing are so kind of random. And I know for myself, I wasn't looking for that. I wasn't asking for that. But there's times where um the Lord has you at the right place at the right time, but a lot of times it's yourself, your character, and it opens opportunities. And
Yeah.
just like being able to work with Bernard and the Sophia Fury team and do jewelry and hand model, that's not something that I
That,
wanted
that,
or
that
was
wasn't on
looking
your college
for. Doing
resume
doing
to,
social media, like
yeah.
all that happened was I got a new phone because my last one was not good and couldn't do videos, and then I was just filming around, and now I get to feature beautiful pieces and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. I was able to be able to now be at a different church and do ministry at a larger
Mm-hmm.
capacity, and be able to influence the all the age ranges, being able to really help with the curriculum that all the kids and the adults
Mm-hmm.
are learning, the youth. And so there's just those things where that wasn't the title, that wasn't the position I was looking for, but I was focused on like, okay, how can I grow mentally? How
Mm-hmm.
can I take care of myself physically? How can I still hold on to my integrity and know that small compromises lead to
Mm-hmm.
big problems? So where am I making sure I'm not compromising on my faith, where I'm not compromising on my values? And so the things that I'm doing all align with the values. They, thank God, also align with my faith, because I know for you and a lot of other people I
Mm-hmm.
get to work with, they value kingdom mission. And I get to see how that works with business, where we're not
Mm-hmm.
a church, but we are able to lift each other up and have not just this focus of, okay, this is our strategy for this, but being able to see how are we influencing our community and how are we still living out the kingdom mission in
Yeah.
different ways. So,
So let's make this practical for you. If you have a decision to make, Marina, you've made some harder decisions.
yep.
How has the ARC path helped you lean into this? And discernment for me is understanding between right and wrong. Discernment is understanding that what you see is not always what you get. So it's looking beyond the surface level. If you're going to
Mhm.
discern something, you're going to see the depth of the implications of the choice. Distraction is something, oh, and it's like a little glimmer over here, and and then you go, oh, it was nothing. Discernment goes, it's nothing, and I'm not going to waste my time being
Mhm.
distracted by it. So,
Yeah.
how has the ARC path invited you to make some maybe harder decisions?
Mhm.
Let's pull another one of your hats in health coaching. How has the ARC path invited you to be um, an amazing health coach?
Oh, well, as a health coach, especially starting off when I was 19, and
Mm-hmm.
in health coaching, you have people more towards the middle age and
Mm-hmm.
older than that. And it could be intimidating at times to start something or start your own business and kind of feel like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Hadn't even graduated college yet. And
Yeah.
so there can be a lot of these shoulds and expectations. And
Mm-hmm.
so on the ARC path, it really helped me dive into who am I? And you always share what's your unshakable, all these unarguable essence to who you are. We all have that,
Mm-hmm.
but it takes a while to get used to thinking like, oh wow, I am unique. I have my own values. I have my own purpose. And so specifically as a health coach, starting at 19 years old,
Mm-hmm.
the ARC path really helped me, one, have a community, have mentorship, so knowing I wasn't alone on the journey, but also be able to know, no, this is who I am, regardless of what another person might say, or regardless of what another person might have experienced
Yep.
through my program. It doesn't shake who I am. Even posting a lot of, I get to share hope through social
Mm-hmm.
media, and I have to get out of my head a lot of times because of what I might think other people are assuming, or where it's like, oh, I'm trying to get people, but where it's internally knowing, like, who am I? What am I about? Why am I doing this? Again, other people can have other reasons for doing things, other experiences. However, for myself, the ARC path has helped me really tap into and constantly be reminded of, okay, what am I about? And how am I showing up?
Mm-hmm.
And where do I not need to fall into the shoulds or the expectations of other
Mm-hmm.
people, different ages, other people, different experiences? And that's what I would have to say about
So
that.
Marina said the word should, and the should is the distraction. The discernment is value. Okay. Values are things that you hold deeply
Mhm.
inside of you. Shoulds are other people's values. Okay. So I'm just inviting you to unpack that for you. If there's something that somebody else values, it's and then they put that value on you, it's a should. Here's how you convert that. You begin to value it. So, Marina, do you value health?
Yes.
Does everybody value health?
No.
What does it look like to should on somebody else with health?
Blatantly, one thing that would definitely offend people would be able to, if you're at a
Mm-hmm.
gathering or with food, and being able to say, like, you shouldn't be eating that,
Mm-hmm.
or where you're health coaching people who you see a lot, or your family members with, there's this, this should of like, oh, you're the one that should tell me what not to eat, or you were on the other end of it as a health coach, but where I could go into the
Mm-hmm.
shame, blame, denial of, oh, you should be eating this, or you should be following this strict,
Yep.
regime. And so being able to put that like essence of, this is how you're supposed to act. You should exercise. You should be sleeping. You should be, not eating or drinking all those sugary drinks, but in a different way, a different approach of educating people and
Mm-hmm.
knowing like that's their choice, that's my choice, and we all have our own choices. But the thing is, we have to own up to those choices. One of the things on the ARC path as well, we say, I get to, I choose to, or I want to, rather than, oh, I have to. Because especially when it comes to food,
Mm-hmm.
people are like, oh, I can't eat that. And it really brings, you're giving food way more power than it has over
Mm.
you, first of all.
Power would
So
be like energy, huh?
energy, yeah, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't have that temptation or
So if I'm
whatever.
focused on what I can't have, where does my energy and power go?
It goes into the why or
The
what
very
I get. I am
yeah.
saying no to this because I'm saying yes to something else. I tell my clients that all the time of yes, you can choose to eat this, you can choose to eat that. It's not a wrong decision.
Marina's so wired to reframe things. I was going somewhere and she pulled the reins to say, "No, don't go there." What I was highlighting
Uh,
for those of you that maybe haven't had Marina as a health coach, when you feel like you're on restriction from what you can't eat,
mhm.
and you're going, "I shouldn't eat this, and I shouldn't eat this, and I
I
can't
can't
eat that." What actually happens is your energy and your focus go
go.
towards that, and you want it more, and it is put in your face more often.
Yep.
Now, what Marina was coaching me through, if you didn't catch it, go back and rewind it and watch her go, Casey, don't go there. And she pulled it back to go. But instead of that, I'm going to say, I get to, and I want to,
Yep.
and I choose to.
Because there's something else at the other end of it, and that can go for any decision of
Amen.
why am I gonna stay up late watching another Netflix movie? Oh, because I want to have more energy. I want to make sure that I don't look all like sleepy or all these
Mm-hmm.
different types of things. Like, why do you brush your teeth? Is it maybe because you don't want the dentist going into your mouth and having to do some deep work in there? Or maybe it's because you want to make sure your breath doesn't smell bad when you're
Imagine that.
talking with people. And so, where being able to shift that mindset, again, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And I'm reminded of just being thankful. I know a lot of times, even in the Bible, I'm a person of faith. That's a huge value for me. We're
It's
reminded
not a
to,
should, it's a value.
yeah, it's a
Remember.
value. It's where there's constantly this essence of it's not everything's perfect, dandelions, rainbows, but knowing that we are to pray constantly, but there's also this aspect of thankfulness.
Mm.
And I think that that's so good because you can be honest about where you're at, but it's also helping shift like, what am I being thankful for? Because it's shifting, it's rewiring and reminding yourself
I
of
mean,
the
it's choosing
goodness,
where to give your
your
focus.
focus, but not denying what you're experiencing or
True.
not denying other things that might bring upon pain and
So I
hurt.
want to shift our focus.
Okay.
I want to shift our focus. You've got another job, and what do you do?
I celebrate
I
people.
celebrate people. Your job, so your health coaching is
Mhm.
in entrepreneurial, independent. It's yours. You run it. You're responsible for it. You also work as a part of a company
Yeah.
called Sophia Fiore or Elba Jewelry Design Center or
Mhm.
Luxury Jewelry Network. These are all names
All
that,
the different
and
brands.
and you jump on all these little circles, and you've become a social media queen, and a hand model
Oh, yeah.
of jewelry.
How
And
fortunate.
I
God gave me
noticed you
good
have a
hands.
couple of rings on today. And Marina's rings and her jewelry have
Mhm.
grown on the journey. That's not where I was going, but it is a focus. And the
Yeah.
more you focus on that, energy sometimes flows there and you start designing jewelry. Are you a jewelry designer too?
I
Yeah,
guess.
I guess.
It's because I know my values. How do I want to express them?
And so my question for you is, how do you keep it fun? That's really what you're being asked to do as
Mhm.
a job. Your
Yeah.
job is to cultivate fun
Mhm.
through a social media presence. Is
Yeah.
is it? I'm just kind of, I don't think I've ever read that down. No one's ever said that,
No one's ever said
but
that.
I'm putting it together. It's what you do, and what you do is what you want to do because you give your focus there.
Mhm.
How did that happen?
I just started taking behind the scenes videos of you guys being super funny, like all the people at the office when we're on lunch breaks or things that would just happen, or videotape the gold being casted. So we manufacture the jewelry at the design center, and I would just put them together and be like featuring Casey, featuring
So
Adam,
let me give you a
featuring.
little insight to what Marina just said. It was not her job to be, I'm going to say, even menacing. Okay. Because Marina would run around with her camera, and it
Yeah.
was not a good camera at the time, but
Mm-mm.
she would just catch snippets of everybody in the office. We have an office, and we were together, and we do a lot of life together. And then she would compile these little videos about each one of us, and then put them in the team chat for our business. And we're all like, who is this Marina and why is she capturing these? But oh my gosh, these are hilarious and they are building our community so strong. Can you do that
Hmm.
on purpose?
On purpose.
And it was a statement that goes like this: where your focus goes, energy flows. And so Marina was simply doing something because it was her focus to share stories, celebrate
Celebrate
people,
people,
give hope,
experiences.
and then it turned into a job.
Yeah. Another one.
Another job.
Yeah, and I get to do it because I celebrate people. That's what I get to do. I get to feature different pieces. It's definitely, I was never into jewelry or anything really
Hmm.
growing up, and when I was able to see how jewelry could was an outlet of being able to express my values, specifically my first piece for the OG Christian collection,
Hmm.
and even customize like
Hmm.
pieces on it. I was just excited for myself on that journey because it even more solidified where is my focus. Because I even use this to remind me of what am I about, what am I doing, why am I doing it, and as the journey continues, I get to help people celebrate jewelry in a way. People get jewelry for different celebrations, but
Hmm.
again, it can be a reminder of family, it can be a reminder of faith, it can be a reminder of experiences. So celebration in that, health coaching, celebrating people on their journey of freedom physically and how that broadens up so much more freedom in other
Hmm.
areas of their life as a pastor, being able to celebrate people on their journey of faith
Hmm.
and breakthrough, and just the hope that we have because of Jesus, and being able to be on the arc path that has catapulted everything else, and just being able to be a person that's still on the journey, not perfect but progressing, and being able to even be on here and not be like shriveled up and like, what the heck am I going to say? Because that's how it started. He had me do a video
On our
because I
very
came on
first
the wrong
day,
day of my internship and I was mortified. He made me do a video
he
that was
made me.
not good. Yeah, at
Did you
that
hear?
point, he
Did you
made
hear that
me.
below the line language? That's how she felt.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I was like,
Because at
bro,
that
he's
point
making me do this video.
she'd never encountered the arc path,
Hmm.
and yet she came in on the wrong day, and so I said, hey, capture this, and yet just the other day she showed me the video again and said, oh my gosh, what a different person
Hmm.
I was. Here's the invite for you and I today, is that you are not in a fixed experience.
Mm-mm.
Life is growing, it's advancing, it's going somewhere. Where is it going? It's going where you put your focus. Where your focus goes, energy
Energy flow.
flows. Now, what does that look like in your life? I don't know yet. I only know what it looks like in Marina's life today because I've had the opportunity and privilege to watch her for the last 2 years navigate the arc path in everyday life experiences, whether it be with her family, whether it be with her friends, her schooling. I mean, I even watched her go, wait a minute, why am I finishing this college degree and spending all this money? It wasn't right, wasn't wrong. It was simply an acknowledgement moment of, huh, how funny. I thought it would be different. And then there was healing and there was restoration. And then there's this kingdom moment of celebration that yes is yes and no is no. And the same thing is true for you today.
Hmm.
When you walk out the arc path, life is going to get exciting. It's going to be an adventure. It's going to be a discovery of watching something happen that you never knew could happen. Could is like a should. It lives in the someday world.
Hmm.
But then you step on the arc path and you go, what am I going to do today? Marina, what are you going to do today?
Oh, well, got a lot of videos I get to work on. But I get to celebrate people.
Mm-hmm. So here we have our resident celebration queen. She simply celebrates people and helps them live the best life they possibly can imagine. She does that through the Arc Path. She does that in Luxury Jewelry Network and helping people customize jewelry and find things to celebrate. She does that as a health coach. She does that as a daughter and a friend and an individual that comes alongside people. She does that as a pastor and teaches and invites people to see an abundance is always available. Are you busy?
I'm on mission.
I'm on mission. I invite you to find your mission. Okay. Find your unique mission and then live that out. How many Marina Maciases do you know?
Just one. Someone does look like me, but they're not me.
Yeah. And there's only one version of you as well. I invite you to discover the best version of you so that you can showcase it everywhere you go. If you would like to find the best version of you, I'd invite you to say, what if I focused on that so that I could have my energy flow there? And we'd like to come alongside you today, give an infomercial, Marina, for ARC group coaching, because ARC group coaching is the process by which we bring to you an invitation to find that best version.
Yes, so our group coaching is an opportunity for you to come into community with other people who want to grow or maybe don't even know where they're at, but just want something different. They want to experience better in their life. And so we have Casey leading us into just going from below what we call below the line and going to above the line of self reflection, acknowledgement, healing, restoration in just 30 minutes. And you will be able to make decisions to reflect and to really have just the mindset and the community to take that next step. It's
Hmm.
not about going from here to here. A lot of times it's just showing up and what's the next best thing, best step for me, and then the next step, the next step. So we invite you to experience our group coaching. We just
Absolutely.
opened so many different time slots for you to join us, and we invite you to go on www.arcpath.com, hit the banner group coaching, sign up for your 14-day free trial, and see what you get to experience in
Maybe we
Arc
could
Path.
even drop a link right here
Yes, we will
in the
drop a
social
link.
media feeds. We will drop the link right in there. We've got amazing steps for you. Marina herself can lead the group coaching because it's just a process of inviting people to see
Mhm.
the best version of themselves. So I'm prepping you for that. You're coming.
Okay.
Overall, thanks for watching today on the Insight Line, where your focus goes, energy flows. So what did you focus on today while you were watching and spending some time with us?
Mhm.
I'd invite you to capture that, write it down. This is called leadership development, when you turn that into goals and then walk it out on a path of saying, this is what I want. This is what I'm reaching for. That's how you give your focus so that energy will flow there and you will see the best version of you. Take care. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us on the ARC Path.
Bye, guys.